Thank you, Mr. Job. Now I request Mr. Ricardo Messiano to make his comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually prepared the presentation, but for the sake of time, I will not go physically to the podium, but I will still go through my presentation. I'd like to react directly to my friend Ajay on this idea of the working groups, the advisory working group for the VNR, which is exactly the direction I represent ESCAP region, the office in Bangkok, the SDG coordination. This is exactly the direction we want to go, because we feel that follow-up and review is actually having different levels, on the national, sub-regional, regional, and global level, needs to be somehow coordinated and, thank you so much, and organized in a meaningful way. I'll go through, no problem. The idea of a support for countries who are preparing the VNR is not only a valid idea, but is also extremely needed. We have been, ESCAP has been supporting countries from all over the region and sub-region in their preparation of the VNR. And both at the Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, which is the regional forum that with this sub-regional forum will feed in, and in New York at the GLPF and at the sub-regional level, countries came to us, say, so considering that the VNR is the main chance for follow-up review at the national level, but we recognize that the national level is the primary level for follow-up and review. How can we be supported? The advisory group is a very good idea. We went a little bit beyond, and what we have been trying to organize in different sub-regions is more as a twinning exercise. So what we did is we contacted a country that had already presented its VNR and paired it with a country that is supposed and about to prepare the VNR for the coming year. We have been connecting the policymakers, the national statistic offices, and we have been asking the senior country to handle the new country in their behavior. I think that between this idea of the twinning exercise and this advisory group, we are in the right direction. So thank you for this. About my intervention, it's also good that I came last, because we started from identification of data, indicators, statistical needs, and moved slightly toward the platform for that is necessary for this follow-up and review, right? Again, if we want to identify the different level of follow-up and review, we have the national level with the preparation of the voluntary national reviews. We have the sub-regional level, which this meeting represents. Then we have the regional level with the Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, which feed into the HLPF. So if you think about the logical sense brings the national to the sub-regional, to the regional, to the global, but then feeds back. And all this level, without any of this level, there wouldn't be a concrete follow-up and review exercise. That's why they're all important and they're all necessary at a different level. The Asia-Pacific Forum for Sustainable Development has been recognized as the main regional platform for follow-up and review. We know this is a meeting that happens every year in March, and what we do is really try to create a platform for member countries, civil society, to add this kind of informal peer review. Whenever we talk about peer review and we talk about with member countries, they're always a little bit reluctant. Right? Peer review is, I'll be super fast, I'll be super fast. They have been, I will not go through the slide, don't worry. They're always a bit reluctant because national sovereignty, and so it's more a chance for exchanging best practices, ideas, success stories, and see how each other can help in this process. There are a few elements that are associated to this to the Asia Pacific Forum Sustainable Development, where everybody is involved, member countries, civil societies, and we do it through, every year we produce, together with UNDP and ADB, an SDG thematic report, which focus on the theme. I mean, we have been discussing this today and yesterday. Every 2 years we have a statistical updates with updates for the different goals, and we have different chances of supporting the VNR. We organize together in cooperation with DESA different level of training for VNR countries. The next one is coming. I think at the moment only Pakistan in the room is interested about it, in Geneva in 10 days, but then we have a pre-meeting on APFSD, and we really try to support countries as much as they can for the preparation of the report. Another key element is we produce Sustainable Development Goals profiles, each profile for each of the goals under review at the HLPF, and we involve not only different UN agencies but also other stakeholders to produce profiles that are really meaningful and can take a nice and clear snapshot of what's it's only the situation of the goals, but also possible way forward. Let me conclude with again, ASCAP is trying to go a little bit beyond and also identify meaningful way to help countries for the follow-up and review, on top of whatever we provide at the sub-regional, regional level with the sub-regional fora and the APFSD. We have established a couple of years ago a rapid response facility, which is a technical cooperation fund which helps countries in the preparation of their, in the implementation of the goals. In line with, you might know, ESCAP established a roadmap for the implementation of the 2030 agenda. So whenever a country needs support for preparation of the VNR, preparation, implementation of their goals, we can support with mission from staff, from consultants, preparation of a workshop for helping the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Another important product that we offer is already there, is an SDG help desk, which is online. I can provide you with the web link later on. And this is a main platform, not only at the regional but at the global level, which works as a gateway for to get to any information on the SDGs. In this platform, we have publication, we have data, we have online training, e-tutorial, everything that by SDG can help countries in supporting this implementation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I think we can perhaps actually go straight to the audience and invite comments from participants here. I think if you could just introduce yourself and just make it very short. If it's a question, make it very just specifically the question and to which panelist. And also, if you have a comment, kindly make it very short. Okay, right there at the end. Yeah. You can.
Well, thank you. I'm Pradeep Besak. I work with GCAP and managing Asia. While data is extremely important for achieving SDGs, there are instances where we have seen data rather manipulated and used as cover-up for non-performance. Many of us would have that experience where data shows performance or some objective has been achieved. In reality, it doesn't happen. How do we deal with that situation? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Annie from Vadana Todo Abhiyan, the GCAP India. I want to take what Ajay had started off with the discussion. Like, if we really look at the SDGs, the biggest chunk is really the leave no one behind. And there's hardly any kind of data that we are able to get on real time or any other regular basis from the community. So is there a way, I mean, particularly as Ajay was talking about the large number of civil society organizations and community-based organizations that are actually on the ground and with these communities. And that is really, and it is, as Rashmi was saying, it's not just a question of only data. It's a question of perception, perspectives, capacity, strategies. So I'm just wondering whether there is any way that the MOSPI can look at a data inclusion process. We are talking of every other inclusion, financial inclusion, capacity inclusion. Can we think of a data inclusion process where, I mean, it can be a mutually collaborating process?
Thanks to the chair. And actually, I have a specific comment for the agenda. Okay. I am Dr. P.C. Mishra. I am a ISS officer, sir. Now, statistical advisor in DGFT. Actually, specific to this session, my particular comment is thank you, the keynote speaker, Professor Anand's a critical assessment of the global indicators, particularly on that goal 17. And it's a welcome step that at least we, all of us recognize that SDGs at least covers 2 indicators and targets for statistics. And so statistics and monitoring has been recognized over the MDG framework, that SDG framework. So taking this as a starting point, although the indicators are not sufficient, we can further refine it because a lot of complexities are involved, as I agree with Professor Anand, that they are not capturing in entirety these indicators. So we must enlarge and refine these indicators, and this is our foremost duty of statisticians. So that will help. And the general one, since after the demise of the 5-year plans and the targets and goals consolidated for India as a whole, and now we have adopted the fundamental principles of official statistics. In the similar way, we should now go for adapting these SDG goals, targets, and indicators, of course, with adding and refining for national, indicators as per our requirement. So that will be helpful. Otherwise, we are going very slow. And since we have statistical capacity to address the tier 3, 2, and 1 difficulties and disaggregation, as pointed out by Professor Anand, we have no dearth of statistical personnel in India, but we have to, harness those potentialities into group activities, group subgroups,
Okay,
and do the work.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Yes, right here. I'll come to the other side. I'll finish this one.
Thank you, sir. I am Dr. Devendra Verma, former DG CSO, and presently
Okay.
statistical advisor with UNDP.
Yeah.
Professor Anant has made an excellent presentation, and I can't agree more with his suggestion about the need of the research unit in the CSO, or for that matter, NSO. In fact, to elaborate further, I would like to take this research unit is required not only for looking at tier 3 or tier 2 indicator, even for the tier 1 indicators. I can give many examples, but classical example is prevalence of undernourishment. The concept has been developed by Indian. Professor Sukhatme developed this concept, and it was being done, calculated for India in the mid 60s. Presently, India do not have the capacity, do not calculate this indicator. FAO is doing that, and there's no expertise. So you need to have such expertise developed, at least such capacity should be retained within the system. There could be many more examples. Thank you.
Before, yes, you're just right here, right in front. Yeah.
Since we really want to monitor realistically all the indicators, now the 2 points have already been made by the previous 2 speakers. the only way that we can really achieve this, we must try to minimize the number of indicators. And while devising the indicators, we must have that much ingenuity that the indicator will bring out the extent of achievement of the objective of that indicator. That is, they have to be more realistic. My second point is that we could try and develop some indicators for the region, say South region, South Asia, or Southwestern Asia. That will help us in two ways. Firstly, it will increase cooperation. Each country will learn from the experience of other. Some are more experienced, some are less experienced. And secondly, it will also give us a chance of having some sort of a comparability among the countries of the regions. And thirdly, since we want reliable data, a realistic data, we might have statistical officers at the center, ISS is there, then in the state they have got their own services, though all these states do not have any formalized service. But the grassroots level worker who collects the data, he does not understand the definitions and concepts of the data. So the data that is collected, that is really not reliable and that is confusing also.
Okay, thank you.
So these 3 points.
Yes.